Well, hey, folks, welcome to another Power Agent Success Series. I'm very excited. We have a super power agent with us, Mary Buddendeck. Hi, Mary.
Hey, Darryl, how are you doing?
Good, very great. I'm so glad that you're doing this. People don't know we had some challenges trying to get this up and running with you, and you're so busy. I thought it was so awesome. I wanted to do a recording where you were showing the house and you were in the kitchen while the buyers were in the house. So in the middle of a tour, you were willing to do this interview, but the connection was not good. So I'm glad that you found your spot. And
we were kind of out in the country for that one a little bit.
So, before we get into the questions and talking, let people know where you're from. Like if they want to get in touch with you, to send referrals or have questions and build a relationship, what's the best way they can get in touch with you?
Okay, well, I have a complete profile on site, on the Power Agent site, and also on Realtor.com and Zillow and all of those. But I am in what I call the great state of Ohio. I'm in the Dayton, Ohio area, which is near Cincinnati. So
awesome, very great.
Any way you want, even smoke signals, that will work.
That's awesome. And what is your web? Let's give them your website address while we're at it.
It's Mary Buddendeck sellshomes.com.
I love it. Okay, great. So now, Mary, just to give people an idea of your background and stuff, because I know you've been a power agent with us since just less than about 7 months. And
this year.
Yeah, this year. So how long have you been real estate now?
I've been in about 24 years.
Wow.
And with the same company, Caldwell Banker, since 2008. And then I was with a much smaller company before that that was affiliated with a builder here.
Okay. And your production this year, and this year you became power agent last year. How does this year compare to last year?
Oh, it will almost double, hopefully, fingers crossed. So that's what we're hoping for. Yeah, but last year was a rough year, given kind of pandemic time.
Well, yeah, I heard there's.
I don't know that we can count 2020 for much of.
No. 2020 was definitely a new year for a lot of people, tragic for some, but yeah. Mm-hmm. But in real estate, people either had a rough year, they had a great year, and then the same thing this year. Some people are having. Now you say you doubled this year. Your average sales, you're going to do, you're on track to doing how much in business? We were talking about that.
Hopefully 4 million. 5 million is always kind of the out there reaching goal. If I could do 4 million, I'd be very happy with that. Being that it is Ohio, not New York, not LA, not Atlanta.
Right.
It's a challenge to get that kind to volume. But
well,
it's doable. It's doable.
Listen, at $160,000 average price for you, and going to do 4 million, I think that's phenomenal. Because you're right, in some like Long Island, New York, that would be equivalent to probably over 12 million in production. So, so kudos to you, really great. So let me ask you, because you are so super busy. What does a typical day look like for you because literally you were, you were willing to do that interview originally from while you were showing property. And I know you're always busy. You have an incredible dot board. For people that don't know what that is. It's just, Mary's is incredible. And, but yeah, what does a typical day look like for you?
Well, Darryl told us we all had to start getting up earlier. So I took that to heart. So 6 a.m. guys, I'm up every day, awesome, including weekends. And I go to bed at a regular time every night too, because that self-care is super important to me. So yep, get up, get ahead of everybody. And it's kind of cool to think of, you're starting your day when other people are hitting the snooze button or, not getting up till much later. And I have a routine as I start my day too, to kind of get my head on right, spiritually, do some reading, things like that, which is really important to have that right mindset to start.
Yeah, that's great. Yep, I agree with that.
So that it starts like that, and then email is the hardest thing. That trying to get to the email, and try to do that a couple times a day because there's so much of that to get through. And they have us on Outlook, so there's 3 sets of email to actually go through because junk mail gets a lot, and oftentimes important things end up in junk. So you have to make sure you're looking through all of that. I'll generally show homes in the afternoon if I can kind of schedule that. And I'm involved with a walking group in the morning, Tuesday through Friday, and that's 9:30 to 10:30. If I can get to that, I really try to make that a priority to get that exercise done early in the day rather than later. Because most real estate appointments I find don't start till late morning or so anyway.
Okay.
And then a lot of paperwork, too, in the afternoon. And I'm also trying to reach out to, at least one seller and one buyer every day, or make some calls, try to time block that for sometime in the afternoon, like later afternoon. And then, of course, in the evening, there's always what I call night work, where you have to get to the things that you didn't finish during the day that really can't wait or shouldn't wait till tomorrow. So I always tell people in real estate, you only have to work a half a day, whatever 12 hours you want. So you have to run with it when the workload is there. Yeah. And then when it's not, you can be a little more laid back with it. But
well, that's really great. I mean, that sounds like you have a good structure as to what you do and what's
kind of all written out. I've got I don't know if you can't see this, but it's an index card, written real tiny, kind of what needs to be done at what times a day, so that nothing's forgotten on there.
Now, is that index card, is that a general concept, or is that actually your daily schedule that you write every day?
I need to update it, but the idea was that it's kind of the pattern of the day. But in real estate, you absolutely have to be flexible, or you can't be so rigid that you can't break that, because you don't really get to control, like when closings are, when people want listing presentations, when you have to go put a sign in or pick a sign up, you have to be ready to jump.
Yeah, that's true. Real estate is a fluid business, right? So we have to kind of it's like bamboo. Bamboo is very strong, but it's also bendable. And so we got to be like bamboo.
Yeah. And then I'll try to, if I can have lunch with a girlfriend or do something social midday too, I'll try to do that, or dinner with a girlfriend, something like that, just because I'm on my own now. So again, that self-care is really important. And I need my friends right now.
Can I ask you about that, or is that too personal?
No, go ahead. I mean, because I think that it will certainly help other people, and that's really what I'm about.
That's so awesome.
Help and serve other people going through divorce, having just been through it. That's, I think, what we're all called to do, is walk alongside others when we've had some difficult times.
Well, I appreciate you allowing me to touch that subject, because I agree with you. There's power agents and non-power agents that are probably watching this that are going through some kind of struggle. Could be divorce, but it could be something else. And so let's spend a few minutes, not the whole thing, but a few minutes on that. It's how long were you married?
Like 3.5 years. So it was a subsequent marriage, and it wasn't very long, but we had connected for a year before that, before getting married. And we had been friends way back in the past and had talked of a future together, and had dated way back then too. So this is almost like not a lifelong friend, but someone I had known for a very long time.
Got it.
So the history is long and it's deep.
So it's long and deep, even though the official marriage wasn't. Right. Okay. And so how did you deal with that? So was it a challenge for you for that to end? And how did you get through it?
I'm still going through it immensely. It has been like a death, in that there was no contact from the time he left suddenly to the time that we saw each other again at the divorce court. So that was a very hard day. So I'm definitely still going through it. It's a ripple effect that affects every nuance and aspect of your life. And when I saw the wedding ring he had left on that afternoon, my heart fell to my knees, and it has not really come back in its right spot as yet. But everything had to, pivot, like we say. I've had to sell my condo, and good thing I knew a good realtor that could handle that. And it sold right away. I've been very blessed in that I've got a good support system, a good church, or two that I'm affiliated with,
Mhm.
and God's been good. And every minute of every day, I sense that. So just to encourage other people that there are brighter days, and I'm counting on that there's going to be brighter days. But you almost have to make a list of everything that needs to be done, and just jump in and do it. It's massive action. And so a lot of things had to be put into place immediately, where they tell you if something dramatic happens to wait a year before making big decisions. I have not had that luxury of time. There's no way. So fortunately, business really kicked up, and that's been such a blessing because it's kept me busy and occupied. It's kept my mind busy and on task. And I'm very grateful for that, because that's going to help me through substantially. So
When
like I
did
said,
when
God
did
has
this
been good.
when
He,
when did this happen? Yeah.
This all just went down. He left May 23rd, and the divorce was final August 23rd. So 3 months entirely, the whole thing upended, and this is my new life. So
Just for the sake of the record, we're recording this in October because we're not sure when people will when it'll actually air.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, so this is but it's still fresh is the point.
Oh,
and so wow, all right. So it sounds like how you're getting through it, so you're still in it, is just massive action, really, in having a balanced life and working your real estate business. Is that right?
Yes. And a lot of self-care. That's job one. Like I said, the regular sleep is hugely important, and just trying to develop this new routine, this new life, and what it's going to look like. And trying to be exceedingly positive in the darkest and grayest of circumstances, and just knowing and trusting and believing that I'm going to be okay. So.
Now, would you say that it is possible, this being one of your best years, doubling over last year, is it safe to say that maybe because of this upheaval in your life, that it has forced you to get busy in real estate?
Yes.
That might have contributed to the increase in production.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the amazing way that, and I know the past in some ways was led, months ago, because in real estate, always what you do now is going to affect you 3 to 6 months from now. But and all through COVID, I was calling past clients and keeping in touch with them. And I did my quarterly events in 2020, and just had to change them up so that it would work with COVID. But and just by doing that, I think that attributed to it. But it's just amazing the way, like, one day can make a difference, either good or for bad. But you can get a day where the phone will ring a couple times, and lo and behold, a come list me call, or hey, I'm ready to buy. You just don't know. So just always trying to be consistent with getting the work to come in, and hopefully it will.
That's important that people hear that, and that is that expression, wow, how much one day can make a difference, because it can. Things all of a sudden can just flip on a dime in a positive, and of course they're negative too, but yeah, you just everything we go through is temporary. I will tell you that what you reminded me of, I don't mind quoting other speakers, especially when it's really good. And one of the things that Tony Robbins has said, and I think it's really good, is motion impacts emotion. When you are in an emotional state, negative, a trauma like you're experiencing, the best way to getting out of that is to get in motion, to get in action, which is, it sounds like exactly what you did.
Yeah, because the easy knee-jerk reaction is to just be in a heap on the floor, and that doesn't accomplish anything. Not to say that I haven't done that, but that can't be the everyday, all-day method for making a new life. I realize that I'm the one that has to do that and build that, and just I keep praying for wisdom to have the knowledge of the next right steps. So, and I think when you ask for wisdom and you seek counsel from those who are wise in various areas that you'll get good counsel, because you're asking for help in those areas, whether it's your business, your personal life, your health, whatever. So for anybody going through, the downtime, just be encouraged, and really one phone call can really make your day in a good way.
Well, let's jump to, because something you said about doing differently the quarterly events. What is that? What do you explain, embellish on that?
Okay.
The quarterly events.
All right. In January or February, depending on the weather here in Ohio, because we'll get snow one of those months usually.
Okay.
And people kind of panic when we get snow. I do a coffee event at Starbucks called Love You a Latte. And that's fun. And usually the people are invited, they just show up at Starbucks, and I'll have a gift card that I can just kind of pass down the line. And it's not like 40 people or anything like that. But the last one that we got to do live, my clients are there and they kind of linger, and then they'll meet the other clients, and they're all kind of like talking around the table. And it was great. And this, with COVID, we couldn't do that. So I had to direct them that I would be sitting in the parking lot in my car, and I parked. So as they circled around to get in line, I'm waving them down, and then I, run over to meet them, and I hand them either a $10 card or a $5 card, depending if it's one person or if it's two. Because I tapped out like at $10. You have to kind of cap it, because some people would bring their whole family, and then they'll like eat at Starbucks, and you won't eat that week.
Mary's buying us lunch. Let's bring the whole family. Yeah.
No.
Get the van.
So they loved it. And then they would go around, they would get in the drive-thru, and then they'd be waving to me as they'd see me with their coffee or their hot chocolate as they would leave. And so I did that twice, because the turnout was kind of low both times and I had gift cards left. So I just, did that again. So that was the first quarter. Second quarter is how I started.
Hang on, can I stop you for a second on that? Because what's in case people are not seeing what I'm about to say, is that even if you don't have a large turnout, when you promote an event like that, the promotion in of itself is branding. It's a contact, it's promotion to have people remember Mary and what she does for a living, which is real estate. Am I right?
Exactly. And that or if they've had a realtor in the past, maybe their agent didn't do that. So at first I was really scared to invite a lot of people, but you can invite like 250 people. You can invite a ton of people, and don't be scared that you're going to get in over your head, because you won't. And then the one event I used to do every year was a movie night, and I didn't rent out a theater or anything. I just got movie passes, and they would have to meet me in the lobby of the theater at 5 o'clock from 5 to 6. And I would hand them movie passes. They were good for any movie at any time, any day, but they had to meet me in person to get that. And so it was one pass or two passes, because again, you have to cap it. And sometimes they would then go out to dinner and then to a movie later after they met with me, or sometimes they would just go to a movie that would start at 7 after meeting with me, or sometimes they would just save it. So that was always very well received. And those tickets, we get them discounted at our board of realtors. So it was $8 per ticket. So that was kind of scary when you're inviting a couple hundred people and you're afraid you're going to, but again, even if they say they're going to come, not all of them will. So you're only out a little bit of money, really. And it's such a better investment to me than putting an ad in a newsletter or advertising on Facebook or any of that, because it's that real relationship building that you're going to accomplish through this. So the movie night I miss, and really couldn't do that. So this year I did Pie Day, which was 3/14, March 14th, 3.14 for pie. And I had them choose between apple pie or cherry pie. And I went to this like famous pie place here, and I just got, after I got the reservations, I got a stack of pies, and it ended up, I got a discount on the pies too, because I got about 20, maybe about 20 pies is all I ended up getting. And then they had to meet me in my office's parking lot, and I had them in the trunk, cherry and apple, and they had to get in my trunk and get their pie out. And I got to say hi to them. Good to see you. Let me know if I can help you in any way. And then off they went. We had our masks on and everything.
Awesome.
So that was the spring this year. And then summer is an ice cream event at Dairy Queen. And again, they just show up. And I have a gift card that we, pass along, and they get ice cream, and it's capped up, for an individual or for a family. So that's real fun. They come and go with their ice cream. And then what I didn't do that I should be doing right now is the pumpkin event, where I have a little pumpkin patch at the office parking lot, and they come and they get to pick out a pumpkin, which is absolutely safe because you're outside.
Yep.
And the pumpkins are way over there, and the pumpkins are even stretched out apart. And then, I can get some pictures of them too with the kids getting their pumpkin.
Right. Right.
But I need to get more pictures. You look back and you remember the things you should have done that you didn't do. So then you can tweak it from year to year. But I'm actually moving very soon. I'm in the throes of packing, and which you can't really tell with the background here. Nothing here is packed. But I'm starting that. The whole condo is coming apart because my closing is supposed to be next week or so, and then moving after that. So I just don't know that I can do the pumpkin thing, but I'd like to do a smile stop of some sort in the fall, because I've done it before with moms, and that is so well received with ladies who are living by themselves, just to bring them a mom and a nice little note, say I'm thinking about you. So that's kind of fun, and leave your card with that. So
that's awesome. And did I see you do something with or is that another?
I did the peeps. Yeah, I did the peeps with the chicks.
Marshmallow chicks.
Marshmallow peeps. So that was really fun. So that was a spring one too. So I'll try. I mean, it's in my plan to do, well, probably 3 or maybe 4 smile stops. But like I said, I missed my mom's, and when I went to buy them, there weren't any. They were all gone.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know what happened with the mom crop, but I should have purchased them in the first week of September, and I didn't. They're gone. So.
Well, I don't know why you're slacking. I mean, heck, you've only gone through a life-changing divorce, sold your condo, bought a new one.
I know, it's
moving.
crazy.
I don't know what the hell's wrong with you, Mary. Come on.
I know, it's like the work ethic. It's just not there.
You're a slacker.
I'm trying. But I am going to do the gift wrap one. It's the Smile Stop, where you get a roll of Christmas wrap or holiday wrap and just drop that by, because I think that'll be fun. And last year I did Christmas candy for clients who had children, and I just went over to Rite Aid because they were like giving away Christmas candy. Like, it was so inexpensive, and so I just bought a bunch of that, and it was fun to be like Santa Claus and deliver it to their house. Like,
this is so great. And what's great about it, and by the way, I just want to tell people that aren't familiar with the wrapping paper one, and we call them smile stops. Power agents call them smile stops, but it's essentially door knocking, dropping off a gift. But the wrapping paper, you can give that to people, a roll of wrap paper with a note on it saying, thanks for helping me wrap up a great year. Or if you want to make it generic where it's not just clients, that you give it to anybody and say, here's to wrapping up 2020 and looking forward to helping you in 2021, something like that. So that's awesome, Mary. And the other thing that you're saying, I think is really important, what I'm hearing that people should hear, is that you're having fun in real estate.
Oh my gosh, this is the best career ever. I tell people that. It's more fun than fun, and to get paid for it it just blows your mind. But now that's not to say there aren't really hard days where you're like, let me at the want ads. I can't do this anymore. But for the most part, it's a great, great career.
So let me ask you this. What is it about real estate that you like so much? What makes you smile?
Okay. Well, I think that it's the American dream. I mean, to be part of the American dream in someone's life is so affirming and so rewarding. I mean, who wouldn't want to work with first-time home buyers because of that? And I don't want to just see one house. I want to see all of them. So I just, always enjoyed, showing homes and working with sellers. It's a lot harder to have listings than it is to work with buyers, because sellers expect 10 times more, out of you than a buyer would. But that's very rewarding too, especially if it's an estate or a difficult situation, or you're helping people. And even in the best of circumstances, buying or selling is very stressful. So if we can help them through that and ease that stress, that's amazing. So I love the people. The work is always different. Every day is different. It does not get boring at all. If anything, it's drama overload,
Mhm.
but you can handle that too. You have to not want more for your clients than they want for themselves.
Yeah, don't be more
Kind of
committed
helps
than they
to
are.
detach a little bit from that. But I'm seeing now, with having sold my own place, just how stressful this is.
Mm.
It's a really good, tangible reminder of what it's like, especially the last couple weeks before closing.
Why don't you talk more about that, being that it's so fresh for you?
Well, and I think part of it is not knowing the closing day. I mean, we are all working toward that final day on the contract, but that may or may not be the closing day, and everything hinges on closing day. Your truck, your insurance starting, ending, a lot of things are in flux, and to not know for certain when that day is, and I mean, I've always known it's harder for sellers when an extension has to be asked for. But that's kind of the why, is they've got everything lined up, and now we have to move it, and they have to sometimes call utilities again. Don't stop them yet. Don't take them out of my name yet. We've had a delay. So, a lot of things obviously we can't control. We can't control the lender other than keeping in touch with them. So, yeah, that's that stress level, that angst, and to be in constant contact with them, I think is helpful too. Say, I'm with you in this. We're going to get through it together every step of the way. And, I've got your back. I'm not going to let anything bad happen to you or to this.
That's a really powerful point. Like when it comes to scheduling the closing date, we may think everybody wants the soonest date. So when we finally are clear to close and we're told on Monday, yeah, we're ready, we can close this on Thursday, that might be great for some people, but for a lot of people, maybe not. Maybe it's like, all right, if we're ready to close, let's do it next week. So that way the seller has not the stress and the anxiety of trying to turn everything off and call the mover and get all this stuff set up within 3 days, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's a good point. This is great stuff. Let's see where I want to go next. The relationship building thing of what you're saying about doing the smile stops and having them meet in your parking lot. And I mean, that's all really good stuff. I mean, that's not really, okay, let me call a FSBO, let me show properties, but it is building relationships with people and to get that referral business. Yes?
Right. And I know it's so much easier to develop the relationships with past clients, people you already know, and people that you've worked with, instead of calling somebody cold or developing a new relationship. The time and the cost is substantially less for cultivating what you already have. And so instead of, spending money at Google or Facebook or any of these places, realtor.com, I would much rather invest it in having these fun events that are fun for me. And open houses have always been fun for me. I built my whole career on them. In the beginning, I would do open houses every Sunday for other agents that either didn't want to do them or had too many listings to carry them out. And a good open house can set you up for the week, which is great, with a follow-up and, trying to cultivate and making something come out of that. So I just think that's more of the way to do it, is look at what you've got. You don't need, a database of thousands and thousands of people. You can't keep in touch with that many people intimately anyway. Focus on what you've got, and the referrals from that could be career making too, hopefully. So
that is awesome advice. I also, there's something that you said earlier that I want to just highlight. You touched upon, I want people to miss it. When you were going over your schedule, you said, you try in the afternoon, you try to make sure that you've had at least one conversation with one buyer and one conversation with a seller, which I know is something that we've talked about in the power program, the power agents, that if you just have those two conversations, one buyer, one seller every day, that would definitely impact your career. Yeah.
Yes. And I actually have a calendar in my day timer. And yes, I'm old school. I have a written day timer and the written calendar. But I thought, oh yeah, I'm probably talking to enough people. But when you start writing down the names of the people each day that you talk with in your calendar, by the time you get to the end of the month, you can hardly see the calendar because it's so full of names. And even if you don't have any work or enough work right then, you know that that's going to come into something down the road because you talk to all those people. And then when you look at a whole year's calendar and you flip the page after page after page, and you're seeing all those people you've connected with by phone, that's very powerful. And it will encourage you that you sometimes think you're not doing enough, or you really haven't done, but then you look back at that and you're like, yeah, I have done it. So that's good. And keep
I gotta tell you, what you just said to me was like some pearl of wisdom, major bomb. That was like awesome, because there's I know so many agents I've talked to coaching that they don't feel like they're accomplished. They beat themselves up. They feel insecure because they're not doing enough. Yeah. But what you just said, that will actually help on an emotional level too. It's like, you may not have production right now, but look at all those conversations you've had. And if you have a whole full 30 days of looking at all these names in your day timer, that helps you keep the faith that you're planting the seeds and something good is going to happen as long as you continue doing that. Am I right?
Yeah. And so there was a while, after, especially the end of May, June, July, I mean, that calendar was not being filled up. I mean, the idea of getting on a phone and talking to anybody was like, oh, you've got to be kidding, because of everything I was going through. So I need to, and I started to really try to get back to that, because the real estate work, like I said, can keep my mind busy and occupied. And there's time enough in each day to reflect and process everything I am going through and have been through. So you can't avoid that. You have to, go through and do that work to heal, and which is going to take time and effort and a lot more time. So
now,
it works to see.
Do you have, when it comes to shaking those trees and filling the calendar, is there a strategy or an area that you go to make those calls or contacts, whether it's a seller or a buyer? Like, do you get on the phone and call past people? Do you call expireds, or how do you get those leads?
Well, I still have to get on Redx to get the expired phone numbers, but I need to do that when I can really buckle down and focus that 30 days that I'm going to get for free to know it works.
Okay.
To get on board with it. So it's like, I can't do that right now. So
no, you can't.
Oftentimes, I've heard too, if you think about someone a couple times in a couple days time, that's probably somebody you should pick up the phone and call. For some reason, you're thinking about them. So that would be who I would start with calling, who I'd been kind of thinking about, or I haven't talked with them in a while. Maybe I should see how the heck they are. And I just, and with COVID, I would just be like, how are you doing? That's all you'd have to say, because people just wanted to talk. Everybody was so isolated. And we were only shut down here for a short while, and they deemed real estate essential, which was good, except that we were out in it, having to, wear masks and be safe, because we were not really shut down. So not that, and there was a span of time where there wasn't much of anything going on, but we were still supposed to be, out there working from home, but we're supposed to work from home, but, we were considered essential. Yeah.
There's some parts of the country that the real estate agents, it was a blessing and a curse. They were considered essential, so they can, they felt there's a little bit more freedom to be out in the thick of it. But now, let me ask you, if you were talking to a new agent, because you got a lot of years under your belt, and a new agent came to you and said, Mary, what should I do? Like, in my first 30 days, I'm new. I don't know what I'm doing. And what should I do?
I'd probably suggest the open houses. And if they don't have listings, and they probably don't, and they probably shouldn't, for a good while in real estate, so that they learn about sellers by working with buyers. I would do the open houses for those in the office that need open houses. And we're starting to see them in Ohio. It's definitely, we've turned a corner for sure in Ohio. We're seeing open houses, and we're seeing price reductions. So that's kind of sad that this craziness is ending, but oh my gosh, it's such a relief too. Our first time buyers have been just hit so hard in this.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I would start with doing open houses. And I know in our company, they give you postcards originally to send out to your sphere of influence. If you are affiliated with a church or any kind of social organization or group, to get the word out there that you're a realtor, and you know that you have room for, say, 3 more buyer clients. I mean, I always try to, you know, put a quantity on it. I have room for 3 more sellers and 1 more buyer or whatever. I mean, even though, yeah, I would take them all, but if you quantify it, that can kind of help.
Mm-hmm.
And also learn from the agents in your office that have been in the business for a while, because there's just a ton of information and resource there.
Mm.
So, and then, you know, look in the classroom and the flyers and what you could be sending out, and get a farm area. And I'm the one that calls it gardening, because I'll have a little something,
yes,
something there.
Yeah, talk about that.
I do a lot with condos, and the condo developments, some are medium sized and some are kind of small. So that's why I call it gardening, because I'll have a condo development over in this place, and then another one over in that place, and then a neighborhood of single family homes where I used to live. And I'll try to do quarterly mailings to all of this.
Okay.
To get that going. And you know, you never know what's going to come of it or when, but you just got to do it. And eventually you get your name out there, and something will happen. That one day his phone will ring. Yep. And it's like, oh, how did you find me? How did you hear about me? Because I want to know what's working and what's not.
Right.
And it's some people come out of the woodwork and you like, how did they remember me or whatever? But others, you're trying so hard, and you know, you just never know. If it was an easy 1, 2, 3 process steps, we would do it, but it's not. So. Well,
you know, there's you know, listening to you talk about the mailings, the events, and doing the open house, like, and putting the notice out there, the post mailing, doing an announcement of a postcard for a new agent. You brought up front for me just how important. It's very simple, the definition of self-promotion, and that is to have people know your name, your face, and what you do for a living.
You do. Okay.
And so everything you're just saying, that's, you know, really exemplifies that. It's about keeping your name out there, keeping your face, what you do for a living in front of people, and being consistent with that, which is so awesome. And I love the gardening. That's, you know, so you know, because there are small buildings, instead of like a farmer has maybe 100 acres. No, we're not doing a farm.
I don't need to make $1 million. I just need to make enough money to pay my bills, have a simple lifestyle, travel to be able to see my kids that are out of state, you know, just simple stuff.
How old are the kids and where are they?
Oh gosh. I've got a son who's 34 and he's in Washington, DC, and he's an attorney, and a daughter in Houston who just became a realtor. After she's been a school teacher, she has an MBA, and now she's a realtor. So she's going to go crush it in Houston. Awesome. That's the 4th largest city, and she's got an MBA. She understands technology. She's not afraid of it, like me. She's a real go-getter, so I think she'll do really well in that. So she's in Houston. And then I have 2 daughters here in Ohio locally. One is 22 and one is 20. And I'm going to be a first-time grandma at the end of January.
That's awesome.
That's exciting. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you've got a nice support group there. That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I know you're busy. I'm going to let you go. Is there anything that you'd like to say before we close this out?
Oh, just be a power agent. Use all the resources that are there, and get your colleagues to be a power agent too, because they don't realize what they're missing.
Oh, that's sweet.
I'm always trying to get them, like, you guys need to do this. And this is a little teeny tiny confession. I did 4 months straight of the Wednesday afternoon webinars. 4 months before I signed up. That's how long I was on the sidelines. 4 months. I've got all the notes.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, why aren't you doing this? It's $5 to start. But I didn't want to do it and then like not do it. So I wanted to be sure. But yeah, it's, you know.
Wow. So it took a while to convince you.
Yeah, I was not an easy sell. No.
And are you happy now?
Oh yeah, I am. I think it's the best money I spend. And as
Right.
much as I've had to cut, I'm not cutting that. No way.
Well, we wouldn't let you go. That's for sure.
No, no. So it's good. It's a good support group too. And the website, like you say, is nice. Everybody's helpful. No negativity. And we need that. We need that safe place to land.
Yeah.
And that's what this group is. So
Thanks, Mary.
I'm so happy to be a part of it. And if I can help anybody out there, just give me a shout.
Give them your web address. I know with the power agents, you're in the directory and you're on the
I'm in the directory, but it's Mary Buddendeck sellshomes.com. And the Buddendeck spelling is under my name. So.
And is it dashes in between any of that, or it's all?
No, it's a capital letter for Mary, and then the B in Buddendeck, and then the S in sells, and then the H in homes.
Yeah, got it. Okay, good. Yeah. Well, thanks, Mary. You stay right here. Let me say goodbye to everybody. Well, there you go, gang. Mary sharing some great wisdom bombs there, and hope this made a difference in your life and in your career and your personal life too. As real estate professionals, remember, we don't just help people buy and sell real estate. We help them get to their next level, and the money we make is a gauge as to how many lives we've touched. So let's focus on making a difference in the world, and the money will follow. Until I see or speak to all of you, stay safe, stay focused, and don't forget to keep smiling.